Hello, my friends. Welcome to Get Your Play Online. My name is Michelle, and today we're going to be doing some ABC arts and crafts. And last week we did our letter A for alligator. So, of course, today we are going to be doing our letter B for bumblebee. So, we're going to be making the letter B two different ways. This is one of the ways with some construction paper, and then we are also going to learn how to make a little bumblebee with some finger paint. So if you want to learn how to make these crafts and just learn a little bit about the letter B today, go ahead and keep on watching and follow along with me. So the first thing I want to do just before we get started is just teach all of my friends about the letter B. So this is the letter B, and we're going to learn how to write it and how to make the letter sound. So first of all, every letter in our alphabet makes its own sound. So the sound that B makes is B, B. Just like when you say the word bee, you can hear that first sound is B, 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 okay? So let's go ahead and sing a little song to help us remember just the right sound that letter B makes. It goes like this, and I'm going to say it slowly at first, and then we can sing it together. It goes like this. Every letter makes a sound. A B says B. So let's sing it together. Ready? Every letter makes a sound. A B says B. A B says B. A B says B. Every letter makes a sound. A B says B. Great job. So B, B, B. Let's learn how to write the letter B. And I'm going to just scoot you guys down a little bit so y'all can see. So for the letter B, and really for every letter, we're going to start at the top of our page and we drag down. Okay, so top to bottom. We make a line from top to bottom, and then we're going to pick up our finger or our pen, and we go back up to the top, and we make one loop, two loops. Okay, so we do a line, pick your finger up, start at the top, make one loop, two loops. Great job. I'm going to practice with my pencil now. Okay, so this is going to be a great time for you to get out some paper and a pencil so you can follow along with me and practice writing your letter B. And as soon as we're done learning how to write the letter B, we'll go ahead and get into our craft. All righty, so get your paper and pencil ready. And I'm going to trace my big B up here first, just to get a good practice in. So we're starting from top to bottom. Pick your finger up, go around and around. Great job. So I have this line down here. I'm going to practice writing some B's on this line, just a couple more practices so we get the hang of it before we get into our craft. Okay, so start at the top, go down, back up, around and around. Great job, friends. And you can use whatever writing utensil that you have. I find that a big pencil kind of like this is going to be easy for our younger ones to start out with, or maybe even a marker might be a little bit easier as well. So let's do a couple more B's. I like to make a dot at the top, okay? And I go down, pick it up, around and around. Awesome job. Let's do one more. Start at the top. Make a line down, around and around. Awesome job, my friends. I'm going to take a look at my paper and I'm going to circle my best B. I think actually this first one that I did, I think that one looks the best. So I'm going to circle that one because that's what I want the rest of my B's to keep looking like. Okay, so now that we know what the letter B looks like and what sound it makes and how to write the letter B, we are all ready to start our letter B craft. So let me tell you guys what we're going to need for our craft today. We are going to need some more white paper. Okay, so I would say maybe about 2 pieces of white paper. And I also have here some black construction paper and some yellow construction paper. If you don't have colored construction paper and you only have white, like computer paper or printer paper, that's okay too. I am going to show you guys how you can still make this little paper bumblebee with some markers and your white paper, okay? So we're gonna need paper regardless. Make sure you have at least white paper. And if you only have your white paper and you don't have your construction paper today, you're definitely going to need a yellow and a black marker. Let's see, what else? We are also going to do the finger paint bumblebee, and that is going to require some yellow paint. And I have cotton balls here. So we're making a bumblebee 2 different ways so that our younger friends who maybe are in preschool still and don't really know how to use scissors all that well yet, just so that they can also have their own way to make the letter B. That's why I chose finger paint, because 1, it's super fun, and 2, everyone can use it. So we are going to start out with our finger paint bumblebee first. You can use cotton balls like me. You can just use your fingers if you want. You can use a paintbrush, pretty much any painting utensil that you have lying around. I forgot to mention, friends, if you're making the paper bumblebee, you're gonna need scissors and glue. But let's go ahead and get started with our paint, our finger paint bumblebee. I have all of my stuff here on a tray so you guys can see it very well. I have 1 sheet of white paper. I have my yellow paint and I have my cotton balls. Okay, so we are doing our finger paint bumblebee first. It's gonna look pretty similar to this one that we're making with paper. And I'm going to take my pencil. For my younger friends out there that might have a little trouble still drawing their bee, mom and dad, you can help out with this part. Okay, so first we are just going to draw very lightly with our writing utensil a big letter B. Okay, so remember, we start at the top and pull down. We go back up to the top. We go around and around. So let me hold this up so we can see it. There's our letter B. And what we're gonna do with the paint is basically just dot our yellow paint in a thick outline around our letter B. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you are using your fingers, make sure you have something to wipe your hands on right after, or just run to the sink and wash those hands. But I am not really needing a wipe today, so I'm just going right in with my cotton ball into my yellow paint. And I'm going to just dot, dot, dot. It's okay if your pencil shows through, because we're going to be coloring over this paint after it dries, okay? So you can see that my cotton ball is making a nice thick layer of yellow paint around our letter B. And that's perfect. We do want it nice and thick. We want it to look like a bubble letter. We want it nice and thick. But don't glob on too much paint. Kind of spread out your paint while you're doing this, because we want it to dry fast, because we are going to come back in and do markers on top of this. We want it to be able to dry pretty quickly. Okay, great job, friends. This is probably about what you have on your paper. We just want a nice thick letter B in yellow paint. And that's pretty much it for now. We're gonna need this to dry. Okay, so I'm just spreading out my paint a little bit more. And that looks good to me, friends. I really am happy with how my B came out. It's okay if the pencil's still showing underneath, don't worry. So here is my letter B in yellow paint. Okay, and we're gonna set this off to the side, let it dry. And while it's drying, we are going to make our letter B out of paper, okay? So let's move this aside. That paint is gonna dry nice and quick. So let's get started on making our paper bumblebee. Okay, I've got my white and my yellow paper. And I've got my black paper off to the side as well. So this part, I definitely recommend using pencil because it's going to be a little bit easier to erase the pencil once we're ready to cut out our letter B. So I am just going to I'm going to write my letter B, and I'm going to make it pretty big as well. Nice and big. And this is what you'll do if you have your yellow construction paper. Let me show you very quickly. If you don't have your yellow construction paper, that's okay. Just do the same thing, pretty much the same steps. You're going to use your yellow marker and draw your letter B in yellow marker on your white paper. Okay. So this is about what you should have right now. So we're gonna make our letter B nice and thick. We're gonna make it into a bubble letter. Okay, we're gonna make the outline nice and thick. So watch, this is a really easy trick on how to make a bubble letter. So you have your middle part right here. You're gonna go out just a little bit and make an outline on the outside of your letter, and then you're going to go on the inside of that line. And then we're going to take this line right here. We're going to go draw an outline and then go on the inside as well. Great. So this is what you should have right now. We're just making our bubble letter so we can cut it out. And then down here, we are going to go outside. And again, inside. Okay, awesome. So this is about what you should have now. And if you're doing it in your yellow marker, you're just gonna do the same exact thing, all right? So just make outlines on your existing letter. I'm doing this kind of quick so that we can get moving and start cutting out. All right, but if you have your marker, you're just gonna color in your letter. You don't have to do any erasing or anything like that. Hopefully you have a nice juicy marker so you can color this in. So your lines won't really show up once you start coloring everything in if you have the white paper. Okay, and so on and so forth. So if you're using your yellow marker and white paper, just color in the whole letter B, and then we will start cutting out in just a minute. So if you're working on your yellow paper, we're gonna start erasing all these inside lines, okay? We're gonna start erasing all these inside lines to make it nice and neat, and then we're gonna start cutting it out. Do you see how I'm only leaving the outside lines? I erased the middle part, and that's how we get our bubble letter thick enough for us to cut out. Okay, keep on erasing. Be gentle and work slow because we don't want to rip this paper. And of course, you can always ask mom or dad for help if you're having trouble pressing your eraser into the paper. All right, I am pretty happy with my bubble letter. I'm gonna leave it like this so we can start cutting and moving on. But this is about what you should have. You have a nice thick bee and it's ready to cut out. So let's grab our scissors and start cutting. Cut, 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 and just cut on that outside line. Because remember, we erased all the inside lines. We want a nice, thick bubble letter B. And don't worry, we are going to cut out the middle part. I will show you a very easy trick on how to cut out that middle without messing up your outside lines. So we are cutting, cutting, cutting just the outside lines right now. Cut, cut, cut. Hopefully y'all can see as you're cutting along with me. Great. Okay, so when you get to this point, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And you can tell we still have these middle parts in here. So I want to show you a really cool trick on how to cut these out without ruining the outside. So grab your scissors and we're just going to squeeze our paper like this. We're kind of going to fold it. And we are going to make a cut on this folded line. Just like that. Okay, we're not gonna make a big cut. We're just gonna make a little cut on that folded line. So when you open it back up, you have a hole in the middle of your paper. And you're gonna stick your scissors through that hole and you can cut from the middle out without ruining any of your outside lines. And you just have to be gentle here. Just make sure you're working nice and slow so you don't cut, rip or cut through your letter. Great job, friends. I'm working nice and slow, just following my outside line. Wow, it is raining over here where I am today. That's what that noise is in the background. If you can hear it, there's a little bit of thunder going on. Okay, I'm doing the same thing. This is what it's gonna look like when you cut it out. I'm gonna do the same thing to my top. Okay, I'm gonna fold it just gently. We're not gonna totally crease the paper all the way. We just wanna fold gently. And then we are going to do a little snip just right there so that when we open it up, we have our hole in the middle to stick our scissors through. See how the scissors are in the middle? We didn't have to cut through anything to get there. Awesome. Just work slowly on this one too. Cut, cut, cut. And we are almost done cutting out our bee. Wow, that was a really big thunder. Okay, I have cut out all the parts of my bee. So we should have something looking like this. And if you're using your white paper with yellow markers, exact same process. You're gonna cut it out exactly like we cut out our construction paper. Okay, so next we are going to use our black paper to make the bumblebee stripes and a couple little antennae on the top for our bumblebee. So if you have your black paper, go ahead and get it out. And don't worry, if you don't have your black paper, I will show you how to make the stripes with your black marker too. So what I like to do for my stripes is just cut along, every paper has straight lines. So we are just going to cut down the straight line and we're gonna make one long, thin strip, okay? So I would say it's probably gonna be about as wide as your finger. Maybe two if you have small fingers. So I'm going to cut a strip all the way down the long end, nice and straight. And that's going to give us this long strip. And this is what we're going to use for our stripes. So let's take a look at our bumblebee. Mine turned out pretty thin. That's okay. I think I'm going to make my strips horizontal like this. So we're probably going to need to cut out a few more. So let's see. I'm going to measure my black strip and I'm looking at the back here. I'm going to cut my black strip right where it ends off of my yellow. So I'm going to make it fit to my bee. So when I turn it around, it's almost the same length as my bee. Okay, so I've got my one strip here. I'm going to set it aside. And I'm going to keep cutting out long strips on my black paper. And I'm going to cut about maybe two more, and then I'll show you how to get your stripes with your black marker. Okay, so we have some stripes cut out here. If you have your white paper and your markers, this is how you can get your stripes on your bumblebee. I'm going to place my letter on my white paper so y'all can see. And even if you have your yellow construction paper, you can still make the stripes this way. I just really like the look that the black construction paper gives on top of the yellow, but you're welcome to do it this way as well. I'm just drawing some straight lines on my yellow letter. And I'm going to make stripes all the way down my bumblebee. So again, you can do it this way if you have your markers. You can do it this way if you have your yellow construction paper, or you can cut out the black stripes just like I did. Okay, so we're gonna keep going down our letter. Just like this. And color in our stripes. Okay, so just because I like the look of the black stripes with the black construction paper, I'm going to keep showing you how to glue those black stripes on. But if you would like to color in the stripes with your black marker, that's perfectly fine. And you can keep doing that while I glue on my black construction paper stripes. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the back of my stripe. and I'm just placing it down right on my bee. I'm gonna start at the top and work down. So, and this one I'm gonna have to cut, but that's okay. So again, if you have your black strips, you're gonna have to go in and cut them to fit on your bee. And I'm gonna put some glue on the ends of this black strip. Great, and then I'm gonna go in and trim it up. Okay, so keep coloring in your stripes, keep gluing your stripes on. We're just gonna work our way down the letter B and give it lots of stripes, just like a bumblebee would have. Great, so again, I am fitting my stripe onto my letter. I'm cutting it where I think it should come off, right about there. And I am adding glue to the ends because when we put this stripe down over the hole, we're just gonna cut the middle out. Great. All right, it looks like we're almost done. I am going to use some of these leftovers that I've been cutting to fill in the bottom. And if you're using your black marker, just keep on coloring those stripes in. It's gonna look great. Great. I think I'm gonna just do one more stripe, all right? And then I will get moving on to the next step. This one is probably the step that takes the longest. So we do have to be a little patient with ourselves. And this is my last stripe. So I am just seeing where I want it to go. That looks good to me. I'm gonna put some glue on the back. I would love to see how y'all's bumblebees turn out. I can't wait because there really are so many different ways to make this bumblebee, as I've shown you. You can make it with paper, you can make it with markers, you can, we're even doing finger paint for our bumblebee. So I would just love to see how all my friends made their bumblebees, because I'm sure they're all gonna look beautiful and different. Okay, so the last thing I'm doing is just going in and trimming off the extra black. Do you see how there's some black hanging off the yellow here? I'm just gonna trim that up a little. And I also see just a little bit of black here that I'm gonna trim. Just a little bit. We wanna be gentle because our glue is probably not dry yet. So just be gentle when you're coming in and trimming these up. Great. I like the way that turned out. So I'm gonna go ahead and one more trim. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. This is what I have so far. I have all my stripes glued on and I have cut out the extra so we have a nice big hole in the middle. So now all that's left is a couple of antennas at the top because bumblebees have little antennas that help them see and smell. And then we're going to make some wings. So let me grab my black paper again and I'll show you how to make some antennas. So again, I'm gonna cut a strip on the straight side of my paper, and I'm gonna make it pretty thin, probably a little bit thinner than the strips that I was cutting earlier. If you're using white paper, do the exact same thing, okay? Just cut a thin strip out of your white paper. And let's see. I'm gonna cut one more that looks a little bit like this. So for reference, this is about the size of my palm. For my friends watching out there, this is probably gonna be pretty close to the size of your hand. So here's my one antenna. I'm gonna cut my second antenna. And try to make these as thin as you can. So I have two little antennae here. These are gonna go at the very top of my bumblebee. And like I said, if you're using that white paper, that is perfect too. You're just gonna use your black marker and color over the white when you cut it out. So we're gonna glue our antennas onto the back of our bumblebee. So I put a little bit of glue and I'm going to put the glue behind the bee. Let me show you the back. So I've glued it to the back of my bumblebee. Same thing for the other one. I put glue on the bottom here and I'm going to stick it right next to that other antenna. Okay, so we have two little antennas. Mine came out a little bit long, but that's okay. I'm just gonna trim them up really quick with a little snip, snip. Great job. All right, I really like the way those antennas are looking. I think that those are good now. You can trim them however short or long you want, because honestly, every bug has different looking antennas, and this is just how I like mine to look. I think it looks good with my thin stripes. So the last thing for our paper bee is to make some wings. So I'm grabbing a sheet of white paper. You can use like the scraps of what you might have left over, or you can just grab a whole new sheet. And I'm putting my bumblebee right here on the white paper so that we can kind of measure out how big our wings are going to be. So let me turn it so y'all can see. I'm gonna draw kind of a heart shape for my wings because I think that's kind of the easiest way to draw some easy wings. I'm gonna start, I want my wings to be about this big between these two stripes. So I'm gonna make my heart come out like this. And if you look closely, it does kind of look like a letter B. So we're going to trace the inside so we know where to cut off our wings. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. This is what we are going to cut out to make some beautiful wings for our bumblebee. And it's okay if yours is a little messy because we can always turn it over to the clean side once we've cut it out. So I'm gonna cut out my wings and then we will be all done making our paper bumblebee. And if I'm going too fast, my friends in the comments, you can always, let me know, slow down, go back. Can you repeat something? You can really utilize the comments on here because I do see them while I'm working. So if there's anything you want me to help you with while I'm here on live, just go ahead and comment and I will catch it and we can go back and, help you with whatever you need or repeat whatever you needed. but I don't really see that anyone is needing any help in the comments right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up my bumblebee. So kind of like how we did with the antennas, we're gonna glue our wings onto the back of the bumblebee because this is kind of our messy side. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this flat part down at the bottom. Not too much, kind of like that much. And I am going to put the glue, let me do it so y'all can see. I'm gonna put the glue on the back side of my bumblebee, the messy side, okay? So it doesn't show on the front. And I'm just gonna press it in, press, press, press. And we have our wings. There's our bumblebee. I love it. He is so cute. And you can even add some details to your wings also if you want. Let me show you that really quickly. You can outline your wings in black marker like me. Kind of like that. Or maybe you can add, you know, some wings have like a line in the middle, something like that. Maybe you can add some swirls to your wings to make it a little fancy, a little cute, something like that. Okay, I think we are all done with our paper bumblebee. I cannot wait to see how y'all's turn out. I think our paint is done drying from before, so let's go ahead and pull out our yellow painted bee. And I will show you how to make a bumblebee out of this that we painted earlier. So here is our letter that we painted with some finger paint earlier. And you can go back in because looking on my end, you can kind of still see the pencil. So if you have the time, you can go back in with another coat of paint. But for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to go back in with another coat. I just want to show you guys how to finish up this bumblebee. So you're just going to need your painted bee and a marker. And we're pretty much just gonna do the same thing that we did with our paper bee. We are going to draw some stripes across it and color them in. And it might even be helpful, moms and dads, if you're doing this with your little ones, it might be helpful to go in and outline the edges so that you can know where your stripes are going to start and end. Mine is still just a little damp, so I'm being very careful. Okay, hopefully this helps us make our stripes a little bit easier. There we go. So you can see I have one stripe at the top, another stripe going down. This is going to be super similar to our paper bumblebee. We're pretty much just doing it with marker. And again, this is for anyone, but I really wanted to include this so our younger ones could have a chance to make the letter B as well. Because I know using scissors and glue like that can be a little difficult for maybe our preschool friends. So that is why I included this paint and marker version. So moms and dads, it might be a little bit easier for your little ones to do it this way. You can outline the stripe and then have them, your younger one, go in and color it with the marker. Or you can just see where your little one wants to take it and have them color the stripes. See, my paint is just a little bit wet, so I'm being careful over here. I don't want to ruin my marker. So I'm coloring in my stripes. Great, and I'm just going to add one more stripe here at the bottom. And we're going to color it in. Great job. So, of course, hopefully at home, your paint has dried completely and you can really color in your stripes nice and dark. Okay, great. All right, I am really happy with those stripes. And here I'm just gonna make a little pair of wings because we don't have that much room, but we still have enough room to make a cute little pair of wings over here off to the side. And I'm gonna make some little details in my wings. Great. I like those little curly cues. And then up here, there's not much room left for antennas, but you can still draw some. I'm drawing a couple little lines with circles on top. He has really small antennas. And I'm just gonna draw another little stripe up here. So this bumblebee can look however you want. You can make big wings or small wings. You can make little antennas or big antennas. But this is probably what it's going to look like when you're all done. And then I can show you how to write the word bee, like the animal, the insect bee here at the bottom if you want to follow along. Of course, we're going to start with our letter B. And then we're going to add an E and another E. And then you can write your name over here as well. I'm going to go ahead and write my name. And that is our bumblebee, 2 different ways with finger paint and with our colored paper. So I really hope you all had so much fun making a bumblebee with me, and hopefully your bumblebee helps you remember what the letter B looks like and the sound that our letter B makes. Let's go ahead and sing our letter song one more time, and then I will go ahead and sign off. Okay, ready? Every letter makes a sound. A B says ba, a B says ba, a B says ba. Every letter makes a sound. A B says ba. Great job, my friends. Please, if you make one of these, take a picture and post it on Instagram or Facebook and tag Get Your Play Online so we can see all of your beautiful alphabet creations. I hope you guys tune in next week with me. We're going to be doing the letter C next week. So I hope to see you guys then, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning in to Get Your Play Online.